We were in Puerto Rico on vacation, visiting friends. It was the first day of our visit there, and we had just finished having dinner with our friends. We were sitting around chatting in the apartment, and it was very, very obvious that he was having a stroke. It was pretty classic. Right side of his face drooped. All of a sudden, he kind of went off to the right side, couldn't move the right side of his body. It was pretty couldn't talk. So our friends, we were in their apartment, and it literally was across the street from the hospital in San Juan. So you couldn't have been any closer to the emergency room unless you'd been standing in it. So they ran across the street, convinced them to give them a wheelchair, ran back, we shoved him in the wheelchair, and went to the hospital. Unfortunately, there are no stroke centers in Puerto Rico, so there really wasn't anything that they could do. It was an ischemic stroke, and there was nothing that they could do. So, so we were there for 6 weeks. I mean, and he didn't have any complications. It was one of those situations, well, then the fact that he's just had a stroke, he's doing fine. So, it took us, after about 2.5 weeks in the hospital, I managed to get him into a rehab facility in San Juan. And then finally, we were able to, they got him to the point where we could get him on an airplane and fly home, fly back to Washington, D.C. And then he spent another month in the rehab hospital in D.C. and they got him to the point where he could walk. We have many stairs in our house, and then we came home. And then he was in pretty intensive outpatient program for a good 2.5 months after that. 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week of both speech, occupational, and physical therapy. We did that, and then he's been doing speech therapy pretty much every day since he was discharged from the hospital. As far as why we decided to do an intensive program, he's been making slow but steady progress since the stroke, but I did, shortly after he had the stroke, I was looking at the National Aphasia Association, I think their website, and there just happened to be something that somebody had written about their experience at the Aphasia Center at Steps Forward, and so I sort of, there was all this stuff going on, I was like, well, so I kind of filed that away for future reference. And then, around April, May, I kind of started thinking, Brent has so many things going for him, he's still making progress, but I felt like it's too bad there's not like an aphasia boot camp or something that he could go to. This would probably really help him kind of consolidate the gains that he's made and maybe kind of bump him up another notch. And that's when I remembered what I had read, and I started looking into intensive programs, and that's kind of, and then I asked Brent about it, and he said that yes, he wanted to spend many hours a day just working on his speech, that he felt like that would really benefit him. So that's when we started researching programs, and we found, I learned more about this place.